Edgerton High School Alternative Program, Option 2, Civics, Chapter 12, Governing the States. The learning objectives, the students will be able to explain the roles and powers of state governors, explain the roles and duties of other elected members of the state's executive branch, identify 4 state executive branch departments, and describe how the jobs of governor and U.S. president are similar and different. Words to know. Governor, the leader of the executive branch of state government. Lieutenant governor, the person next in line for the job of governor, takes office if the governor dies, resigns, or is unable to carry out the job. Secretary of State, the person in state government who keeps state records and runs state elections. Superintendent of Public Instruction, in some states, the person who runs the state public schools. The state governor. The governor is the most important person in state government. He/she stands for state government and all that it does. Most governors serve 4-year terms, and they serve 6 roles: chief executive, chief of state, chief lawmaker, commander-in-chief, and party chief. As a chief executive, they carry out state laws and create the budget. As chief of state, they make speeches, greet visitors, appear at special events. As chief lawmaker, they can veto and propose new laws. As commander-in-chief, they are the commander-in-chief of the state's National Guard. And as the party chief, they are the state leader of his or her political party. Other elected state officers. The lieutenant governor is the second most important official and becomes the governor if the governor is unable and often presides over the Senate. The attorney general is the state's chief lawyer. They advise the governor, legislature, and other state officials. The Secretary of State keeps official state records, runs all statewide elections, and makes sure they are fair. The Superintendent of Public Instruction is the chief education official in the state, works with the Board of Education, and enforces the state's requirements for learning and teaching. State departments. A state has many other executive departments besides the education, state, and attorney general's offices. State governments must meet the needs of all their people. Some examples of departments are health, transportation, parks, and prisons. The heads of these departments make up the rest of the governor's team. The governor chooses the people who will help enforce his or her policies within their departments. The governor and the president. There are similarities and differences. Some of the similarities are both are leaders of the executive branches of government. They both live in government-owned houses. They both have several jobs or roles. Both choose some heads of executive departments, and both create budgets, and both have veto power. Some of the main differences are that a government's power is limited to just one state and not the entire country. A governor has no power over the U.S. Armed Forces, and a governor must share power with the other elected officials of the state's executive branch. Summary. The governor heads the executive branch of state government. The governor has 6 major roles, including chief executive, chief of state, chief diplomat, chief lawmaker, commander-in-chief, and party chief. The governor must share executive power with other elected officials. 4 of the most important state officials are the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, the secretary of state, and the superintendent of public instruction. State governments must meet the many needs of all their people. Some state departments that meet these needs are health, transportation, parks, and prisons. The governor chooses the heads of these departments. States also operate special boards that give tests to certain professionals and other workers. They must pass the test to obtain licenses to work. Here is your quiz. Good luck, and see you in class.